Today we're officially gonna try to tackle the 10 levels of kickflip challenge. Obviously this is gonna be very difficult because a kickflip alone as it is pretty hard, and that is level 1. And then we're gonna go every level past it and increase the difficulty of the kickflips that we're doing. Luckily we're in my favorite flat ground spot. I think there might be school going on, so we actually might get kicked out, but let's see how far we can take it today. Of course, starting with level number 1. And just because I'm a masochist and I really am trying to push myself today, I'm gonna do all of these 10 tricks 3 times each. So even for the difficulty level 10 trick, I'm gonna do 3 times. All right, let's get started with the kickflip. So the reason the kickflips are so initially jarring for any new skateboarder is because it's not like anything else you do in your life. It's a completely new sport, new activity that just feels very awkward. You're rolling on this piece of wood and you have to make the board flip just one time over. So what does level 2 look like? Well, for me, level 2 would be doing a similar style of the trick. So basically just a kickflip, but riding in a more difficult position. So for me, level 2 is a fakie flip because you do have to learn how to ride backwards to pop a fakie flip. So when you do your first couple of fakie flips, you'll probably be going a lot slower than I was going. You might even land a little stopped, and you might even see for yourself that it might be easier to turn the trick a little bit. So some people who do their first fakie flip actually kind of like do a 180 flip, but just a little bit, and you'll see like according to you as you go along. But I do think that this is the next progression from the kickflip. So what would level number 3 be? Well, to me, it's when you start rotating your body with the board. Now, some people actually do learn front side 180 kickflips first, where their body turns a 180 and their shoulders stay open like this. But I think more people learn how to do a 180 kickflip backside. So as they're riding, their body spins a 180 backwards like this. So even though a back 180 is typically harder, for some reason getting to flip in that direction just feels right. And I think it's because your back foot is used to scooping the board this way. So level number 3, backside flip. As I was mentioning, I think it's gonna be pretty subjective moving from this point onward. So if you're trying to create your own list and you do have these 10 levels of kickflips in your own mind, you might be going about them differently. But for me, backside flip is number 3, and to me, frontside flip is number 4. I think it is harder to kind of figure out that trick. To me, it does feel a little more professional, and I do think that frontside flips as you move along, where you do the open shoulder 180, I actually think that becomes easier as you become a better skateboarder, but I think at the beginning, it's gonna be easier to do a backside flip. So level number 4, kickflip challenge, frontside flip. One thing I want to mention as well is I think the 180 kickflips are absolutely more difficult than the kickflip itself. But for me, to spin the 180 kickflips fakie, like if I start off riding fakie and I do the backside flip or the fakie frontside flip, it's a little easier for me. I think it's because maybe you roll away riding regular, but I actually don't put those on the scale at all because I think it's very subjective for the people out there who do the fakie 180 flips. It could be vastly harder or easier for you. For me, they're so much easier. I would actually say, yeah, both fakie 180 flip tricks are easier than both regular 180 flip tricks. So now we're entering level 5. This is an endurance game. Clearly, I'm already getting a little winded, especially because it's 90 degrees outside. But number 5, I would say, is the double flip. So far, the double flip is absolutely the trick that required the most energy. You need to wait a little bit longer in the air. You need to make sure you pop your tail a little harder and you flick a little faster. Some people figure this out very quickly, and I would say even for myself, I was able to, when I was younger, to flick the board a little faster this way. The reason it becomes harder as you get older isn't just because you get older, it's because you get so used to doing just kickflips the way they are. most of the tricks that I try to expand on require just a single kickflip into a grind, into a slide, etc. I very rarely get the board to spin double, but it is something that I have been kind of excited about trying to put more into my trick regimen. So we're moving on to number 6. This one I feel like will be the most subjective so far because some people learn this trick before they even learn how to kickflip, but not me. So it's the kickflip body varial. So as your board does a kickflip, your body starts off regular, but then as the board's flipping under you, your feet turn like this and you land goofy and you roll away. But for me at this stage of my life, I would say that this trick is harder than the other ones we've done so far. But from here on, number 5 through 10, things are gonna get, or 6 through 10, things are gonna get a little silly and wild, and this is when the tricks actually become pretty damn difficult. So maybe you're seeing with that trick that things feel a little different. Maybe it doesn't feel as crispy. You saw that the board was rolling on the ground a little bit. I think this is the stage where the tricks become a little floppier. I think that's why a lot of people don't like going beyond this stage. They like to keep the solid kickflip, the solid fakie flip. People haven't really made a lot of these other tricks look as solid as the original 5. But I still think it's fun to try to go down that avenue. So for number 7, for me, is a trick that I think does look good naturally. It's a full cab flip. So it's a fakie 360 kickflip with your body spinning with the board. Now, I know there's a lot of variations that you could do with, like a 360 flip is technically a kickflip where the board spins a 360 and flips once. But I'll probably make a separate video about the 10 levels of 360 flips. So for now, I'm trying to keep my body over the board. So if the board rotates, I want to rotate with it. So for this one, full cab flip, I would say is level 7. So level number 7, the full cab flip, you can see that I'm getting a little more squirrely on it, but I gotta keep my endurance. Look at all the sweat that's happening just from missing a couple of tries and just standing out here. It's basically a sauna. So, just like before, we went from the backside flip to the frontside flip from levels 3 to 4. So right now, going from level 7 to 8, we're gonna do something very similar. We did the full cab flip, which is technically a fakie backside 360 kickflip because we're rotating the same way we do for a backside flip. So, what is the next level? Number 8, to me, would be a fakie frontside 360 kickflip. One that you very much don't see often. I don't know if I've ever even seen that trick down a stair set, but that one, it's a fun one for me. I don't know, that one and the last one might be almost equal in difficulty, but let's knock out 3 of them right now. So some of you may be wondering, how much are you actually allowed to slide these tricks? Because you see for the fakie frontside 360 kickflip, I'm sliding almost a full 180, but in skateboarding it still counts if you keep the momentum going. So if all 4 of your wheels hit the ground and you come to a complete stop, and then your shoulders keep turning and then your board goes with you, then it doesn't count. It means you did a fakie frontside flip and then you turned last second. But if you keep that momentum going, you keep that slide going, it absolutely counts. So now, let's get into 9 and 10. Number 9, I'm gonna give you a freebie because I couldn't decide between 2 of them. So I'm gonna do 2 different tricks, 2 times each. It's gonna be 4 total, but it's gonna be basically an evolution of what we've done so far. We've done the double flip, we've done backside flip, frontside flip. Now we're gonna do double backside flip and double frontside flip. And I'm gonna do 2 each, double frontside flip, admittingly, to me, a little more difficult, but I feel like these kind of live in the same realm. I don't think I could be sweating anymore right now, but this is what it takes sometimes to try to advance through these tricks, and it does feel good because I feel like for the double frontside flip today, I did figure it out a little bit better, so I'm glad I'm taking the route to get to where I need to with all these tricks. So the last one, what is it? What is level number 10 for someone like me? I call it the daughter flip. Now, the mother flip is when you do a 360 flip and your body spins a 360 body varial the other direction. But a daughter flip is a little less intense than that. It's when you do a kick flip and your body spins a front 360 body varial. It's very difficult. A lot of people don't do it. It's very awkward to keep your board flipping perfectly straight while your body is doing all this rotation, because typically when your body spins, your board also wants to spin. And I'm gonna get into that right now. I do just want to say that this shirt is a Progress Daily shirt that I launched. It's actually the first time that I've been rocking this shirt on this channel. Obviously it's summer, it's long sleeve, it's a good way to protect your skin from getting too much sun damage, especially if you're out and about all the time like I am. It's a big thing that Koreans are into. They try to protect their skin from the sun. So if you are into the whole long sleeve thing, you can check it out on the back. Bam. It basically says Progress Daily or Advance Every Day in Korean, because that is a unique expression in Korea. It's a cat taking a selfie. He's tired, but he is free to change. And that is something that resonates very deeply with me, because a lot of times I'm always like, what should I do? Of course, I'm just gonna follow what the critics say, and it's very scary to take that next step in life, and I think for all of us, we feel that pressure, but we're always free to change. You don't have to be who you think you're programmed to be. You can move on, try something new, etc. Anyways, right now, 360, body varial, kickflip. Last one, let's try to do 3 of these. It's gonna be difficult. Shit. Oh, I hit hard. Oh, man. Ooh, that rocked me. God. So unfortunately, my camera cannot keep up with the demand of how many tries this trick is taking me. Every 15 minutes or so, the camera dies because it's filming in 4K, 60 frames a second. Obviously, that takes a lot of energy for a camera. So when it's hot outside and it's 100 degrees today, it just kind of fries the camera every 15 minutes and I gotta wait it out. And with this trick especially, it's one of those tricks I just need to keep going and keep trying. Every time I take a rest, it becomes harder to get back into it. So I did end up landing, I think, about 5 of them. Only one was, I think, good enough to kind of use and maybe post on my social medias. And I think it's an okay ending to this whole 10 levels of a kickflip day. But of course, I would have rather gotten a perfect one. I wanted to land one that was just bolts clean and right away. But I also think when you're skateboarding and you hit your head, you should probably rest for the day. It's not really like other sports like MMA, etc. Those who's just hitting the head, and football over and over and over, but concussions are always dangerous. And I think as a skateboarder, you usually, at least for me, I use skateboarding more as like a tool, an art, a fun, also an exercise. I don't want to push it too much. It's not really worth risking any future damage. So I am taking a break for the day. But I hope you enjoyed that video. Those were the 10 levels that I consider the kickflip. Obviously, you can keep going and going and going. I would say on flat ground, if you do like a front side 360 kickflip, a backside 360 kickflip, you can do a backside 360 double flip, and you can just keep adding variations. And you could definitely take this to level 100 if you wanted to. But to me, this is kind of my scale. This is kind of how I scale it. And eventually, I think around 12, 13, when you're doing triple flips, it's much easier to do it off of a kicker ramp. If your board flips 3 times, you got all that time in the air to hang out. On flat ground, it's especially difficult. So usually with tricks like this, people do them off of stuff. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope in some way it got you inspired to go out there and try to kind of build up through the levels of what skateboarding provides. Obviously, you can go your own route in any of this. You can take it to a heel flip and then go all the variations of a heel flip, or you can just not worry about any of this and take it straight to a ledge. Grind. There's a million possibilities with skateboarding. I think that's what's so fun about this stinking thing. Wherever my skateboard is, I'll find it later. Who cares? Thank you for watching. Take care. Progress daily and keep killing it.